announcing he is commuting the sentences of 37 federal death row inmates.
That's right. Among them are 2 men from right here in Georgia. They will now serve life sentences without the possibility of parole. 11 Alive's Karis Belger spoke with their attorney. She's joining us live now in front of the federal court building in downtown Atlanta. Karis, I can imagine how this news resonated with the 2 inmates as well as their families. And the attorneys mentioned anything about their reactions when they heard about this?
Well, I spoke with James Ertl early this morning, and he had not had the chance to speak with his clients. That's Meyer Brown and Anthony Battle. He hadn't gotten a chance to talk with them just yet, but he did tell me he personally was happy about what this meant for his clients.
With just weeks left in his presidential term, Joe Biden announced Monday he was commuting the sentences of 37 death row inmates. For defense attorney Jeffrey Ertl, the announcement came as a surprise.
I came into work this morning about 5 o'clock, turned on my computer, and it comes up with a news feed. And I looked and saw my clients' names on the roster.
Ertl represents Meyer Jason Brown and Anthony George Battle. Brown was convicted of stabbing a postal worker in Fleming, Georgia in 2002. Battle was already serving a life sentence when he confessed to killing a correctional officer in 1994. Ertl has represented both men for more than a decade and says this announcement presents a serious shift in his client's circumstances.
And on federal death row, they were only allowed contact with a small number of people to go to whatever rec they have or whatever lounge that they have. So when you get into the general population, you can now work, and as a matter of fact, you're expected to work. You can take programs, and you then have contact with, however many other inmates are in that facility.
The announcement comes just after the Faith Leaders of Color Coalition sent a letter to President Biden asking him to commute the sentences of all death row inmates. The letter said in part it would help redress the racial bias built into the federal death penalty system and allow vast government resources to be redirected to policies that actually improve public safety.
When you get to know them like I have, and then get to know their families, and you get to know where they come from, it's always poverty, it's drug use, mental illness. It doesn't excuse what they did, but it gives you an idea.
Now, 11 Alive has attempted to make contact with both Battle and Brown, the families of Battle and Brown's victims. Right now, we are still waiting for a response. In downtown Atlanta, I'm Karis Belger, 11 Alive News.
Karis, just one question for you before you go. Did Ertl mention anything at all about how the families of these 2 men are doing right now?
Well, he specifically mentioned he had been able to get in touch with Meyer Brown's family. He mentioned he'd been in contact with them a lot, especially recently. And he said this was, especially right before the holidays, a very unexpected, but of course a very welcome sort of holiday gift that their loved one would have the chance to live as with this new announcement from President Biden.
Yeah, really, really big news for these families. Karis Belger, thank you so much.